Hi and welcome to another video in the RHCSA video series. Today's video is on create, mount, unmount and use VFAT, ext4 and mkfs file systems. So essentially we're going to have to create those three types of file systems, and we'll do some mounting and stuff like the checking of the file system, all that sort of stuff. Just across those three different file systems. So as always, let's bring up the terminal, and as always, let's make myself root. Okay, so now we're in there. So first thing, let's do the VFAT file system first. So let's just double check I have a logical volume actually first to mount to. I don't, it looks like. Let's see if I've got a volume group. Okay, so I've got volume group 1, BG1, which is the one I've created earlier in the earlier videos. So I'll just create a new logical volume. We've got around 10 gig of space, but I'll just make a 5 gig for the sake of doing this. So lv create, and then L to size, let's do 5G. Okay, and then minus N for, and then that will be LV1, not that matters too much, just the logical volume name, and then BG1 for the volume group. I'm going to match it to, and it's been created. Excellent. So let's make a file system on this logical volume just created. So we can double check it's been created correctly. Let's just do a LV display. So let's go up a little bit towards the top. So that's my new logical volume. Yep, just created. Great, on 5 gig. Alright, so just do a clear here. Now we do mkfs, make file system dot, and this is quite a common one, so most file system creations are with this format. So make fs, make file system, and then vfat, and then where your logical volume is, and it's done. As quick as that. And to then mount this, mount dev vg LV1, oh, whoops, and the mount point, because I manually, okay, oh, it's got a nice typo there. Yeah, there we go, we got there. The first one, I forgot to specify the mount point, so it would look to fstab to try and find it, in that case. And this one, I've still got a typo here, so I've just got the volume group VG rather than VG1. And so obviously it's saying the device doesn't exist. And then finally, I've put everything correct, and we've mounted the device correctly. So we can actually just do ls on MMT or PMT, but you can see you've got something there. So you've got it's mounted essentially. We could do a touch MMT test 1, and we could just do an ls MMT. So it's writing. That looks all good to me. Okay. So obviously, if you wanted to mount that permanently, you can do the usual stuff of ext4 fstab and add a new entry. To insert a new entry, and it would be dev volume group logical volume, and then the file type, so the mount point, then the file type, and then defaults. In most cases, use what you want to use. I've explained all those in previous videos as well. And 1, 2, we can just space these out like they are in the others. So it all looks neat. Just tab that out as well, so it's here. Yeah, now just made it a little bit iffy. There we go. That all looks good. So now I can right quit. We can test this is good. So what we can do is unmount. Sorry, unmount. That always bothers me. And then MMT. And so we do ls on MMT now. We've got another temporary directory I created previously. And now, so if we do a mount dev vg1 lv1, like I did earlier without any entry to where to mount it to, it'll automatically mount it now because it's got an entry in fstab. So we should go to ls mmt and we've got that test1 file back. So that looks good. So if we do an unmount again, okay, so say we know that maybe perhaps the file system's got some kind of inconsistency in it, and we need to do a repair. We use the fsck.vfat. Again, this is pretty much the common one, file system check, essentially that is, and it's .vfat, which is the file system. And then we specify where it is, so vg1 lv1, and it's just checked it. Great. Obviously, as you get larger file sizes and more files, etc., this thing can take quite a long time to do. Okay, so that's pretty much all we need to know on VFAT for this particular section. So we will move on. Let's now clean the screen. Let's do a makefs again. makefs.ext4. Then dev vg1 lv1. So it's saying it's got a VFAT file system ready on it. Obviously it's going to warn you about that. In this case we know that, and we're going to proceed. And it's created, so you can see the output's a bit different on this one. It gives you a bit more information, it gives you the UUID and stuff. It's quite nice. And you can see it's created a journal, etc., all that sort of good stuff. To mount is very much the same. The dev vg1 lv1 and specify the mount point. Okay, and we go ls mmt. We don't have that file now. We have got the lost and found, which is specific for ext file systems. And if we just do, let's say, a touch mmt again, and we just do test2, and then we just do the same ls, you can see the file. So all good. That works again. So again, if you want to mount it permanently, fstab, and we can just update this directory. So we can say instead ext4. Simple as that, and that's all you need to do really, because all the other bits are exactly the same. So right quit, we do unmount on mmt, just do an ls mmt, it's all gone again, and we do mount dev vg1 lv1, and then we do ls mmt. It's mounted successfully, so fstab is working. So if we do an unmount again, so we can do the standard consistency check. So we do let's do a clear so it's a bit cleaner. So we do fsck. In this case, we don't need to specify the file system. And then dev vg1 lv1. And it's done a file system check. Cool, simple as. And the final thing for the ext4 file system is we can get a bit of the details about that. So we can actually use a command called dump e2fs. It's for some of the older file systems, but it's quite good. It still works with this file system, e2fs. Dev vg1 lv1. And you can see a whole lot of information about the file system there. All the different groups of blocks, etc., and how it manages it. let's be honest here, I have not foggiest some of this outputs. Stuff like inodes, obviously the maximum number of files and stuff like that, but a lot of this stuff is very in-depth detail, so you may need to look up the individual pieces of information if that's something you're interested in, but this won't really come up on the exam. Okay, so the final file system is the XFS file system. So the two ones that you're going to really use are this ext4 file system and the XFS. So there's two common ones, and generally ext4 is for like file systems with lots and lots of files, and lots of small files as such, whereas XFS is very good for larger file systems with larger files but perhaps less of them. And then finally VFAT is generally for stuff like memory sticks or USB memory cards, that sort of thing. Okay, so let's do the XFS one now. So just do make sure that's, I think I didn't unmount it, just double check. Yep, let's do a clear again, and finally let's do the same make fs.xfs for the file system, and then dev, and then vg1, and then lv1. In this case, it's asking me to do -f to force the overwrite, because it's seen a file system already. So obviously if you had a clean system you wouldn't get this, but in this case we're just doing some tests, so we're going to do a force. And it's written that, and obviously again you see some information about what's written, etc. The usual stuff. Let's mount the file system. There, vg1, lv1. Oh, yep, sorry, I have to specify the mount. This error message is because in the fs tab we still have the entry for the ext4 file system, and of course it's going to say wrong file system type, and that's why that message. So I just specified mount, and it's now mounted successfully, and we'll just double check. You can see there's no output in this, so it doesn't really create any files, but let's do test 3, and let's do ls mount. We can see the files written successfully, so that's all mounted. Okay, and again to test let's do the fs tab stuff, and it's going to be very similar again because we're going to keep the same mount point. The only thing we're going to change here is this. So we do xfs, we keep the defaults and the 1 and 2. Right, quit. Okay, and we can then test that. So let's do unmount. Really bothers me that unmount mmt. That's unmounted. Okay, and we just do ls mmt just to prove it's gone. Cool. And then we can do mount dev vg1 lv1, and it's mounted and it's there. Cool. So let's repeat this. Let's do a file system check, and this is completely different. Of course it couldn't be the same, could it? So xfs underscore repair, and then dev vg1 lv1, and there you go, it's going through its all usual checks, and it's done and happy. Cool. And then finally the last one we can cover is information on the file system, vg1 lv1. You can see a bit of information, very similar to the information you got when we first created the file system. Yeah, so the one thing you can see there for the XFS ones is most of them are XFS underscore repair, XFS underscore, etc. Okay, that pretty much covers it. So I hope that's been helpful. I've just pasted on screen now my information about my coffee webpage. So I've just have a webpage. You can just do small donations to me if you find these videos helpful. I'm just trying to keep this going, but it's obviously difficult. to find time, etc. But yeah, I hope the video is useful. I'm glad to hear some of you guys are actually passing the exams based on my videos. It's really good to hear. So yeah, if you do have any more of those stories, I'm very happy to hear them. It's great to hear you guys doing well. Well, thanks anyway for watching once again, and I'll catch you in the next video.